ladies and gents, and boys and girls, and wild cats, bobcats, and every cat out there. Cool cats, I guess. So we're going to draw this, and we're going to add value using a pen for right now, but you can use charcoal, you can use pencil, whatever you want. We're going to draw the teapot right now. I just want to show you how to draw that teapot. I may do a little bit of value on it with a pen. So this image is square, so you could turn your paper horizontally, or landscape, or portrait. That's up to you. I'm going to actually just keep mine horizontally. I seem to prefer it. I think it will allow me a little bit of leeway there. So what I do when I go about drawing something, I try to break it down in basic shapes. Do not trace. So to me, this overall shape of this is like a circle that has been a little squashed, a little rounded, right? It's not a true round circle. It's a little bit. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. See right there, you can see that little round circle. Now I'm going to go in there, and I'm drawing it light till I get it right. And it doesn't matter where you go. I'm going to go right here because I see that lid next, and it's like a ellipse here. That's a circle too. I'm just getting a placement right now. It looks like it lifts up a little bit. Got to have a little placement there, or a little lid area. And so here's going to be that. And then this lid kind of sits down in, bulges up. Still the same circle that we've used, just defining it a little bit. And on top of that, see that little Dumaflachi right there? So that sits above a little bit. My pencil needs sharpened. I do not like drawing with a pencil that's dull. So it's going to be right through there. I'll sharpen it momentarily, I guess. And that has a thickness about it. See that? Because there's a little bit of clay, porcelain, whatever this is made out of, that holds that up there. I'm going to round that down just a little bit. We'll come back to that now. It's a little bit wonky looking. Maybe I can do that like this. Okay. Now our handle, what I try to do is keep in mind, see this ring here? The handle, if you kind of draw a straight line over, it looks like the handle will, I may actually need to put a little more bulge in this side. Man, bells get me every time. So the handle will, that's the top part. So the top part of the handle looks like it might come out like right here. It bulges up, and it doesn't go any higher than that lid, the inside. Kind of curves back down. I've seen people all the time, they get bent out of shape on drawing the handle. Just do the best you can. Got to keep in mind that's like a belt. If you think about a belt, it's got two sides. A top side that everybody sees when you put your pants on, and underneath that goes against your stomach, your waist, whatever. But if you look at the thickness here, see it stays about the same thickness. We'll worry about how that flops in just a minute. And you kind of see how that goes like that. Now we're going to go in here. And let's make this just a hair wider. All right, now watch what I'm going to do. This part is going to be the top. If you look right there where my pointer finger is. And then this part kind of underneath. And that part comes over like this. I'm just marking that in there, even though I'm going to use pen probably to shade this. I'll come back. All right, now let's get this part right here, and we'll pause for a little bit. So this I used to know the name of that thing that you pour out of. So it looks like there's about that much room, right? If we get a, and then this. I was noticing while I was gone here, it looks like this is a little bit, if we go around here and fix this, because you can see the lip of that, bring that on around there, it might make it look better, but I'll go back and fix that. So you see how you can see that curve there really pronounced? I'll come back to that. So we're right now working on this spout here. We're going to, what I like to do is try to just do a general placement. You can see like the side of this right here. It kind of goes up like that. Like you can almost imagine a line that goes up. And then it doesn't go all the way up here, obviously, but it goes up a little ways. And you kind of see this, I call it like a trunk, like an elephant's trunk. It kind of comes out, and curves up. And I want to use something as a reference here. If you see the top of that, we drew a line across there, maybe the bottom, it would be here. So we know that we don't want that to go way up here. And how far out is it out from this? It's just kind of, if you look at the opening here, it looks like it comes. So that's why I stopped about there. I'm going to worry about doing just a little opening or a general shape for right now. We're going to, that kind of, it's a hollow spout. We'll have to come back and get that, but we're just getting a general placement. Now this looks like it comes out and then comes down, out and down, a little bit of, and that's going to maybe fatten that up a little bit here. So the shadow, when we put shadow on there, it's really going to help this define that. But we're just doing placement right now. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I'm not going to put that tag on there. And as an artist, you can do the tag if you want. I'm just not going to. Now right here. It's looking really messy. So this little lip. If you've ever made something out of clay, you know that you make the vessel, the pot, then you go add the handle on, you add the spout on. That doesn't look right, but we'll see what we can do. Get your drawing correct before you start adding. If you want to do that little tag, it's going to be like right through here. I said I wasn't going to, but why not? That tag looks like it's tied around that neck of that little handle, so I'm just right there. So get your drawing right before you go add value to it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do the cast shadow. Looks like it, see where it intersects that at? So here. And then the cast shadow is down here. It comes from underneath the bottle. And it's not a perfect, it kind of just staggers off. So I'm going to get my big pink pearl eraser. If the dog didn't eat it real quick. There's one. I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to clean up some stuff and fix some stuff. So right here, draw it light till you get it right. Obviously that right there, because that, see how that goes over top. Very beginning we talked about using shapes to make your drawing, and then you go in, you refine those shapes, and that's what I'm doing right now. Also, I used a sketchy line. Like when you're drawing, or I do anyhow, I start out with a rough sketch. Then I go in and I add the details. I think that's probably how a lot of artists do it. I'm going to just go right through there. And I'm going to erase this a little bit through there. But by doing this, you're making your drawing cleaner and neater looking. If you have a pencil that won't erase well, throw that pencil away. Or if you have a paper that will not allow you to erase well, throw it away and get you some good paper. So even though I outline that, I'm erasing it a little bit because I'm going to go in here with pen in a minute. And to be honest with you, I think this pot is a little more squatty than what I've got it. So I'm going to come right back in here a little bit after. That's the good part, see? Just change that a little bit, make it a little more squatty or shorter. And squatty is not a word, I don't guess, but it is for now. I'm going to erase that shadow line. Bring that shadow again. It looks like it comes out, if we're looking at a drawing, comes out from here. Again, you're going to use a pen probably in a minute, or that's what I'm going to use. All right, so let's start with the pen. And in reality, you see a little bit of lines through there, or shadow, but I'm going to use a pen to do that. So I'm not going to do this whole thing in pen. If I do, it's going to take a lot of time, and it kind of looks like this is sitting on a table or something with a white drape. Comes down and it's flat there. We're not worried about that necessarily right now. So let me find my pen. And did the dog eat my pen? Where's my pen? Oh, booger. Let me hit pause for a second. Okay, I found my pen finally. So what I like to do with the pen maybe is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in here and straighten things up first. Ultimately, you don't want to see your pencil marks, but I've just started here with this little, wish I could remember the name of that right now, this little, you can outline this, but I don't really like the idea of outlining with a pen. What is this thing called? This little knob on the handle. And I didn't outline this shadow here that's on top of this lid. See where my little pinky is pointing there? There's a cast shadow from that knob that kind of is like here. Maybe not that big, but I'm going to take this pen then. I'm going to outline that right where I see that dark. And remember the techniques that you use when shading with a pen. Stippling are little dots, right? You can stipple, or you can hatch, and that's lines that go close or side by side. Or you can cross hatch, that's lines that go over those hatch lines. Now, our little lid here has a little shadow here, and so I'm going to go right through there. Some hatching, and that shadow kind of follows our little curve. And the really cool thing about a pen is that you can control the pressure of how much you're pushing or not pushing down. And these pens are super cheap, but they're really awesome. And I don't know if you can tell that, but I'm doing a little bit of hatching and cross hatching there, just trying to get a little bit of value. I'm going to go around this little, where that lid sits down in that canister or that vessel. I'm going to just outline that a little heavy, making marks and hatching, cross hatching, or hatching there to make that show up. Just outlining. I might make sure you draw it out first, because if you don't and you mess up, you can't fix it, right? I mean, it's only, and I'm going to go over here on the top part of this handle, and I'm going to do a little bit of hatching, because see that little shadow where I'm pointing right there? Now that's underneath this handle. You know, if you want to outline, since you're drawing it with a pen, that's good. That's fine. And that way you can take an eraser and go back over this. I'm going to do that right here in a second. Notice how I'm going hatching there, and I'll go back over this. You might have to do some background shading to get your handle to show up. And your knob. I'm going to do something pretty bold here in a second. I'm going to erase with an eraser and see what's left. But right now I'm just outlining again. Why'd you go all that trouble to draw with a pencil and then you're outlining with it? Well, you wanted to make sure you were okay with your drawing before you, see there's a little lip right here. And that little lip comes all the way around. There's a little shadow right underneath that. Let's say, for time's sake, now you're going to be doing this, hopefully. I'm going to go right through there, because that's behind. I'm going to go hatching, cross hatching, because I want that. If you look behind this, see this hatching. I don't have time to sit here and do all this and make you watch it, but I'm just going to show you. Maybe after you get finished with all this that you'll come back in and do your background. So this is just a kind of like a hatch that I want to make my handle and my vessel show up. When you're doing this, don't get trigger happy and just start marking everywhere, because if you do, you're going to cover up your handle. I'm just going to fill that in a little bit. I'll come back to that. See, now by keeping those hatching, cross hatching kind of wide apart, then I'm making it lighter. If I wanted it darker, then I, like maybe through here, I just go in there and purposely make that darker. I'm going to take an eraser real quick. I'm going to erase all that, the pencil. Now you can see what I actually did in pen, or that's why I love those pink pearl erasers. Now I could go back around this now and tweak it a little bit with my pencil, or I mean my pen. All right, let me do a little bit more on this and I'm going to stop. I'm going to go over here to this handle, but I want to do the whole thing in pen ultimately. I'm going to lay this on top of it so you can see that and this. So I'm going to take maybe a good idea to just outline where you want the shadow to be. So that's what I did right there with a pencil. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hatch, cross hatch. And if you look at this over here where I'm pointing with my pointer finger on the left hand, it's a little darker right through there. And it's almost dark. So just go over this. What I actually really like to do is I like to work on the whole thing some, make it, a certain darkness. And then I'll go back over different parts of it and make it darker where I need to. Because I believe what I told you before is that it's easy to get darker, but it's hard to get lighter. So if you go over the whole thing in a certain value or certain shade, and then you go back over it and make it darker where you need to. So now that right there seems really dark and out of place, but it's because we don't have the dark here and we don't have this dark here. So this is the part where I would start doing that darker, right? And now we don't have the dark on this side of our vessel, our little teapot. Now keep in mind that this is a little lip here that's raised. And I think I already messed up there, but I can probably fix it when I do that back. I don't know if I can or not, because that background is lighter. Probably just going to have to live with it. Happy accidents, right? Bob Ross. So but you get the point here. Give this whole thing a try with pen. Let's see what happens. Obviously in there it needs some dark. Down here's dark. But let's see what you all do and what happens, and we'll go from there. Thank you for viewing today. Talk to you later.